Okay, before we begin one formality, I'd like to ask everybody that has a cell phone, either please put it on vibrate or change your ringer tone to Here Comes the Bride. You've got your options. Okay. If you turn it to Here Comes the Bride, give me 3 minutes. Right now we're going to, as soon as David's ready, David will come out. We will begin the chuppah ceremony. David will come out first, symbolizing that this is his home. It is his home, and he's inviting Susan to his home. He will therefore come out first, followed by, I believe, his brother and his sister-in-law, and then we will have Susan come out. As soon as they're ready, they will be here.
Hold on.
Oh, David's first. David is walking down with his dad. His dad is finally free from paying all his bills.
Yeah, right. That was quick, David.
Now that David is here, we've symbolized that David, this is his house, isn't taking Susan as a wife. Before that, he obviously has to accept Susan's family. Susan's going to accept his family, so we have his brother and sister-in-law, Susan's sister, to come down and join us as we complete the family. As you see, the families won't be an issue. Okay, now Susan is going to be followed by her parents. If you realize they are holding candles, they are holding fire. Our wish and hope for the chuppah and for their marriages is that it should be like a fire, constantly getting bigger, constantly rising, and constantly growing and striving. And we know that David and Susan, when they build their house, they will keep on going up, keep on getting bigger, and keep on warming up whoever's around them. So it's only fitting that they are followed with candles and fire. We'd now like to ask Susan, followed by her parents. We'd like to ask everybody to rise for the Queen. Symbolizing that Susan is coming into David's house, and to David and her parents are saying, enough of my bills, now it's all David's headache. And what we're going to do now is Susan is going to encircle David. As David stands in the middle, he built the foundation of the home. Susan will walk around, symbolizing the fact that although it's David's home, it's up to Susan to protect it. Susan is the one that's going to decide how it develops, decide how it turns out, and it's in her merit and her honor to be able to build the house together with David, to be able to build a family together with David, and it's up to her to ensure that all the boundaries and everything is done the correct way. So we're going to ask the parents, together with Susan, to walk around David. While they're walking around, just something interesting about why we do it on a chuppah, why we have this open-ended roof, and that is just like David and Susan's home is a home that's open for everyone, a home that's open to everybody. We therefore, they get married in a place that's open because we know that their place, their home is their wish, that their home is always going to be an open home. Another thing about it is just like their marriage is going to be with no boundaries. It's always going to be able to grow. There's not any walls, there's not any limitations. Therefore, we do it in an open environment because there's always room to grow. Something else why we do it outside, and that is that we don't have any limitations of a roof, we don't have any limitations of a house, but rather we are going to do it outside just like the Jews were blessed that they're going to be like the sand and stars, just like you can't count the stars. That's how many Jews we have, and that's how many Jews we will have. And therefore, it is a very fitting to have a beautiful day like today, to have this chuppah outside where David and Susan are getting married. We're going to go around 7 times. 7 symbolizes the days of the week. And just like the day after 7 days of the week, the world was complete, so too after 7 times around, they are completing the beginning of their home. As you see, they're pretty hesitant about giving up Susan, but they'll make it.
She's so dizzy, she won't know who she's marrying. Is it the 7? One more. He says one more time.
You may now sit as we go through the formal process of David and Susan getting married.
When's the carpet coming?
No, we're sorry that wasn't.
Just a short thought before we actually begin with the actual blessings and the actual marriage ceremony. If you realize, some of you did see, some of you didn't see before they walked out, David covered Susan with a veil. The reason for that is that it's an old custom, dates back from our forefather Jacob. When Jacob was going to marry Rebecca, Rivka, her father tricked him and covered their face, and instead he got Leah. He got her sister. And therefore, we always commemorate this switching by covering the bride. Now the question is, why commemorate such a swap? Why commemorate such a problem? And there's a beautiful explanation, and that's just for Susan. That is that every one of us has parts of us that we like to express to everyone. We have that great part of us, that attractive part of us. Then we have the part of us that we like to cover. And what David did today was, he said that, look, that I know Susan through and through. I know Susan for the parts that are uncovered, the parts that we always see, and I know Susan for the parts of her, the characteristics that are covered. But when I want to get married, and I'm getting married now, is that I want to say that I am truly going to get married to all of her. I'm not marrying her for any one part of her, I'm marrying for all of her qualities and aspects. And the same thing is that as Susan walked down with her face covered, she's saying that she accepts David, and she wants David for all of him, not just parts of him. And this is going to be the secret to the marriage, the successful marriage, and that is by ignoring flaws and by looking at the entire thing as a complete whole. We are going to ask, before we get to the blessings, we are going to ask Susan's. Don't have it. We now welcome the Apparently, Dave's prepared an escape route in case it's we have, before we actually go on with the actual process, we have in front of us the ksuva, which is a marriage document, which we will get to in a second. But before that, we will make sure that it is signed and sealed. This deal is over. Any last wishes?